يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. I'd like to say congratulations in advance as we are starting, inshallah, the fasting of the holy month of Ramadan from tomorrow. And focusing on this beautiful verse from Surah Al-Baqarah 183, that the message of Siyam and fasting start with Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, the believers. This title, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, is mentioned in the Quran over 80 times. You know, sometimes the verses start with Ya ayyuhan nas, sometimes Ya ayyuhal insan, sometimes Ya ayyuhal kafirun, Ya ayyuhal ladhina hadu, Ya ayyuhal nabi, Ya ayyuhal muzammil, Ya ayyuhal muddathir. So there are different nida'at that Allah addresses, sometimes the groups and sometimes individuals, or people of the world, or believers, or disbelievers. And in this case of fasting of the holy month of Ramadan, the faithful are the audience of Allah. There are so many other obligations for the faithful. Maybe one of the things that you want to do in holy month of Ramadan, go through these verses that start with Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. Just study these 80 verses in the Quran. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu ati'u Allah wa ati'u ar-rasul. Istajibu lillahi wa lirrasul. Kunu qawwamina bil qist. Kunu ma'a as-sadiqin. أوفوا بالعقود استعينوا بالصبر والصلاة أنفقوا مما رزقناكم لا تتبعوا خطوات الشيطان. All of these orders start with يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تلهكم أموالكم ولا أولادكم عن ذكر الله. That ذكر الله on Friday, don't let your family, your business stop you from rushing to remembrance of Allah. So many obligations start with, O believers, obey your Lord. Listen to Him. Establish justice. Be pious. Be committed to your covenant. Practice what you preach. Be patient. Be a person of charity. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu limma taquluna ma la taf'alun. Don't say it if you don't do it. Be aware of your enemy, shaitan. So many verses with Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. Send your salutation and salams to the Prophet and submit to his commandments. And now in this verse about Siyam, again, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. The believers are the audience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Kutiba alaykum as-siyam. It is farida maktuba, means don't doubt about that. When Allah wrote it down, when He says it, that is enough. But when He says kutiba, means it's 100% a forceful commandment, that there is no place to doubt about its importance. Siyam is like salat, like al-hajj, like zakat, khums wal zakat. These are wajibat, these are obligation. فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ الشَّهْرَ فَلْيَصُمْهُ. If you witness the holy month of Ramadan, فَلْيَصُمْ, must fast. وَمَنْ كَانَ مَرِيضًا أَوْ عَلَى سَفَرٍ فَعِدَّةٌ مِنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخَرَ. Because Allah is not there to force you. He goes with your ability. If you are not able to fast, you are traveling, you are sick, you are weak, in that case, يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرَ وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمُ الْعُسْرَ. In the same chapter, in the same verses, that Allah wants you to be comfortable. He doesn't mean you to be tortured and to be suffered. Somebody is sick, exception. There are people, and for women, for the elderly, men and women, for kids, there is no fasting. Somebody is pregnant and cannot fast. Somebody is nursing a baby and cannot fast. Because يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرَ وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمُ الْعُسْرَ. There are people who live in an area that the daytime is 20 hours now. In some areas of like Norway or like certain areas in Europe, in Canada. In a situation like that, at 20 hours, 22 hours, sometimes 23 hours. And there are people who live in northern pole that the sun doesn't set for long time, 3 months, 6 months. There is no fast in this situation. Of course, if the days is too long, like 20 hours, and somebody still is able, doesn't care, able to fast 20 hours, ahlan wa sahlan, go ahead and fast. But majority of people are not able to do that. In that case, the fuqaha, they have other option that you can fast later on when the days are shorter. Or if you can travel to an area where the days and nights of normal, travel for the month of Ramadan. But if you cannot travel and you cannot take fasting for 20 hours, in this situation, you may break your fast, since you are not able to fast, and fast later on. People live in those areas that days is long time. They may go with the first horizon, where the days and nights are normal. Some scholars say go with the time in Mecca, al-Qura, and choose the hours, days and nights in Mecca and fast based on the horizon in Mecca. Or if you are coming from another country, that's it. Or the closest country to the zone that you live, and that is a normal, yani awqat mu'tadala. You pick up the hours of the closest neighboring countries and areas. So always there are options that makes it easier for us. When it is Hilal Shahr Ramadan, now, I mean, there was a time that they could not have scientific calculation. They had to take the camel and go on the mountains and, find out the Hilal and where's the Hilal. Now, the scientific calculations tell us exactly the birth of the month and the Hilal, the crescent of the month. So do we still have to do what in many Muslim countries, still people go on the mountain and still they take a helicopter and they use the airplane to go and find the Hilal? While the science already is helping us. Why we need to go through all this confusion unnecessarily? Instead of all technicalities that are not necessary, let us focus on the philosophy of fasting. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. How much we think about لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. Last week I had a discussion about the blessing of fasting, like discipline, determination, patience, spiritual freedom, spiritual security, cleanliness from spiritual diseases, repairing our relationship with God, all these 6, 7 items that we discussed last week. These are really the points of the holy month of Ramadan. And for this reason, the Nabi alayhi salam said, لو يعلم العباد ما في رمضان لتمنوا أن يكون رمضان السنة كلها. If people had understanding, al-ma'rifah of the importance of the month of Ramadan, they wish that the entire year was the month of Ramadan. أعطيت أمتي في شهر رمضان 5 خصال لم يعطهن أمة نبي قبلي. There are 5 important blessings that this month of Ramadan gave to Ummah, or my Ummah received. 5 blessings of this Ramadan that no one else in the past had it. أما واحدة فإنه إذا كان أول ليلة من شهر رمضان نذر الله عز وجل إليهم ومن نذر الله إليه لم يعذبه. The first thing is that Allah on the first night of Ramadan looks at the Sa'imin, pays attention to the faithful who are willing to fast. And if you receive the attention of Allah, لم يعذبه, you are free of punishment. Forgiveness. الثانية خلوف أفواههم حين يمسون أطيب عند الله من ريح المسك. The Prophet is saying that during the day when you are fasting and the smelling of the mouth is getting bad, but in the sight of Allah, the smell of the mouth of the Sa'imin is better than the best perfume in the sense of this spirituality. الثالثة يستغفر له الملائكة في كل يوم وليلة. During the month of Ramadan, the angels are praying for the fasting people day and night. والرابع يقول الله عز وجل لجنته تزيني واستعدي لعبادي يوشك أن يستريحوا من نسب الدنيا وأذاها ويسيروا إلى كرامتي. Allah is telling the paradise to be prepared for the people of fasting. And he's saying that they might be tired of all this tiredness of suffering of the world. And whenever it's time for them to meet with the Lord, be prepared for them, then they get relaxed and they are at peace. والخامسة إذا كان آخر ليلة من شهر رمضان غفر الله عز وجل لهم جميعا. Subhanallah, the final thing, the final prize at the end of this month of Ramadan, after 1 month of fasting, and for those who are not able to fast but they pray and they have the intention of the ibadat in this month of Ramadan, the final prize is the total forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the faithful who fast.
Imam Mohammad Ali Muhammad.
But brothers and sisters, it's important to understand what kind of Ramadan, what kind of Siyam, what kind of fasting are we talking about. Because there is another hadith from Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, كَم مِّن صَائِمٍ لَيْسَ لَهُ مِنَ الصِّيَامِ إِلَّا الْجُوعُ وَالْعَطَشِ. Imam Ali is saying that there are some people that all they gain from fasting is just hunger and thirst. It's not that Allah is saying that you become perfect if you are just hungry. That is not really the purpose. The purpose is to really understand the total coverage of fasting during this month. Is not only a stomach. If your mind is fasting, if your heart is fasting, if your soul is fasting, if your body is fasting, if your eyes are fasting, if your ears are fasting, if there is really the concept of real fast in physical and spiritual, that is the fast that we are talking about. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وآله يا جابر هذا شهر رمضان من صام نهاره وقام وردا من ليله وعف بطنه وفرجه وكف لسانه خرج من ذنوبه كخروجه من الشهر فقال جابر يا رسول الله ما أحسن الحديث فقال صلى الله عليه وآله ما أشد هذه الشروط. The Prophet said, Ya Jabir, this is month of Ramadan. If somebody is fasting during the day and do some prayer in the night, and he is able to fast not only the stomach, but his temptation and his tongue, is a real fasting. When he is getting out of this month, is getting out of his sins altogether. And Jabir said, wow, such a beautiful statement. And the Prophet said, such a hard condition. The statement is beautiful, but the conditions of fasting are important. Somebody may say that if this is month of Ramadan, month of peace and love and friendship and reconciliation and forgiveness, why is it that there is more blood and more terrorism in the month of Ramadan? Why ISIS and Qaeda and other? Well, they have nothing to do with Ramadan. They have nothing to do with لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. They are not there for taqwa, they are there for terrorism, and that's totally different things. And they have nothing to do with religion, but everything to do with politics. We know that. These days, all the news are about the Trump traveling to Saudi and Israel. He's dancing with dictators in Riyadh. That is the source of terrorism, right? So they have nothing to do with Ramadan and fasting, right? There is a business over there, but not business about spirituality and democracy, human rights. The business of blood has nothing to do with belief, brothers and sisters. This is the same Trump who used to say the Saudi kingdom was behind 9/11. They enslaved the woman, they killed the gays. That's what he said about them. And he said that they are the world's biggest founder of terrorism. The same guy who said all of this statement again and again and again during the campaign. Now he is going there and he is talking about friendship with the magnificent kingdom. He called it magnificent kingdom.
Money, my friend, money.
Is the person who used to say, we want to make America great again. America first, America great again. How you can make America great again and you bound down to your knees to get a golden necklace from a corrupt and criminal king? How that can be America first? How can you make this country great if you are dancing with them and drinking with them and calling them? That is talk tough, but lie and hypocrisy altogether. So terrorism has nothing to do with all these issues. Terrorism has to do with $400 billion of weapon that somebody somehow should use that. And can you imagine the same time that he was there and he was attacking even Iran, that Iran is behind terrorism now all of a sudden, and Muqawamah is behind terrorism, and Syria is behind terrorism. The same day that he was saying these things, 70% of Iranians on long lines, some of them waiting for 4 hours in hot weather to vote, to choose their president. A president who's moderate and wise and rational and peacemaking and fair. It is not Ahmadinejad to have excuse anymore. You are talking about Rouhani, man of peace and man of wisdom, man of love and understanding. And you are talking about the nation who are smart. Trump said in his talk in Riyadh that the Iranian people are great people, people of civilization. If they are such a civilized and great people, why you put ban on them? Why you put sanction after sanction and sanction? Because this sanction hurts the people over there. Just yesterday, shamefully, the Foreign Relations Committee in Senate They approve more sanctions against Iran. All of a sudden, a country that's voting for democracy and freedom, you are putting more sanctions. So what does the whole thing is telling us? That the President of the United States is traveling to Middle East and visiting only two capitals. One is Tel Aviv and the other one is Riyadh. That means only two things are important for Trump. One is oil and another is Israel. Nothing else is important over there. Human rights, democracy, voting, women's rights, doesn't matter at all. Fighting ISIS, fighting Al-Qaeda, fighting terrorism, he did not even mention what he used to repeat all the time. Radical Islamic terrorism. How many times you heard him, radical Islamic terrorism? He forgot about this word in Saudi Arabia. That family is the source of all of the things that he used to say. If there is such a thing as radical Islamic terrorism, so you are talking about ISIS and Al-Qaeda and Boko Haram and Shabab, all of them are paid by that country. So how can you forget that one? The result of this is this, that a day after Trump left Riyadh, somebody like the corrupt king of Bahrain, he got the message because Trump said, fight terrorism. Now who is the terrorism? They attacked the house of a pious, great scholar, Ayatollah Sheikh Isa Qasim, the religious leader of Bahraini community, the majority of Bahraini. They occupied his house. They killed, wounded, or arrested hundreds of people who were around the Sheikh's house to protect him from terrorism of the kingdom of Bahrain. And they stole everything in his house, even the wujuhat shar'iyya, if there was amwal al-khums was zakat, that people gave to the sheikh as their marja. They stole all the money and all the property and destroyed the neighborhood because the Al Khalifa realized that it is the time. He got the blessing from Trump because he shook hands with Trump a day before and he got encouraged to involve in that terrorism. And following day we had the tragedy of Manchester. Manchester. Innocent people were killed in Manchester. They went for a game. And somebody from Libya. And now ISIS said that that guy, Salman, was their soldier. So what happened to all of these 50 kings and their coalition against terrorism? That all of a sudden we see terrorism in Manchester? What happened? That means that $400 million weapon could not stop that. Could not stop terrorism in Manchester. Could not stop terrorism today. The tragic thing that happened against the Coptic Christians in Egypt. When the boss of the kids of Christians was stoned by a criminal, and so many children in the bus, almost 25 people killed, 25 people were injured. So these are real terrorism. Any of them from Iran? Any of them from Lebanese resistance? Any of those terrorists from Syria who are fighting ISIS? None of them. Show us. If those guys are supporters of terrorism, why is it that none of these terrorist crimes was committed by anyone from Al-Mughadha al-Lubnaniya or Jamhuriya al-Islamiyya or people who are fighting ISIS in Syria? They are all of them inspired by the Takfiri, Wahhabi, Saudi kingdom's ideology. They are the ones who are inspired. So you go there and you dance with those dictators and you forgot about fighting terrorism and fighting ISIS And those Sharia law that you are talking about, you were in the center of Sharia law in Saudi Arabia, that's Sharia law. So if you have problem with Sharia law, why you go to the headquarters of Sharia law of beheading people and killing people? So all of these hypocritical, empty talks bring more sickness to the society. And this is why, brothers and sisters, not only us as Muslim community, we are in need of Ramadan, in need of لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, in need of the healing of يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. But everyone, it is a need for humanity to read about the month of Ramadan, to read about the ayat and riwayat في فضل شهر رمضان، شهر الرحمة وشهر المغفرة وشهر العتق من النار. And it is time for us as Muslim community to have more outreach during the Ramadan, have iftar even for non-Muslims, invite them and provide them with the light of education and fighting this Islamophobia, Shia phobia, Iran phobia, resistance phobia, Mahdi phobia, all of this phobia on the wrong direction needed to be stopped. And that can be done through awareness of more people. And this is the minimum thing that we can do to educate ourselves about Ramadan and to educate other people about Ramadan through reciting the Holy Quran, reciting Nahj al-Balagha, having more focus on our faith during the holy month of Ramadan, bringing our children to the masajid, listening to lectures, participating in ad'iyah. This is our opportunity, brothers and sisters, don't miss it. Allahumma ahillahu alayna bil-amn wal-iman wal-salamati wal-salam wal-rizq al-wasi' wa daf' al-asqam wa tilawat al-Quran wal-aun ala al-salat wal-siyam. Allahumma sallimna li shahr Ramadan wa sallimhu lana. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Inna